it's Ryder from the KQ Morning Show. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that good stuff. Thanks for using the Best of the KQ Morning Show podcast to get through your holiday season. Sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. New episodes fire up Monday, January 6th.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I once woke up at a girl's apartment who did not invite me over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who
Sure.
didn't, but she let me in. Somehow I got into the apartment building. I knew I was supposed to be at that apartment building. I was meeting so-and-so at this, but I couldn't quite find the number, and I didn't, so I just started knocking on doors, and she said, why don't you just come in and lay down on my couch? Wasn't that nice of her? I could have been a serial killer. I said the next morning, I was like, I could have been a serial killer. She said, you weren't killing anyone last night but yourself.
Oh, my God. Unusual, weirdest places you've ever woken up is what we're looking for. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. Tony, who we got on the horn?
There's some unique sleepy time for Dave from Andover.
Dave, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Love the show.
Thank you, brother. What do you got for us?
My brother moved down to Texas in 1975, Port Arthur, and we went over to New Orleans. There was a big concert for the weekend. It was the first annual Pride of Dixie with Allman Brothers, Charlie Daniels, and the Marshall Tucker Band.
Sold.
So we slept over there for the weekend. First night, we went up by Lake Pontchartrain. There was a big fountain about 6 feet off the ground, about 10 feet wide, no water in it. I climbed up, slept in that fountain the first night. Second night, I slept on a bench outside my brother's van in a parking lot down in by Canal Street down there.
Yeah, you're probably young enough you didn't even wake up with a kink in your back, did you? Yeah.
Hell no.
Rested, ready to go again. God dang, I miss those days.
Down in the French Quarter.
There you go. Oh, my gosh. That's great. Thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate the kind words. My first time in Minneapolis, right there outside my hotel room door in the hallway. I wish I could remember the name of the establishment. It was very close to First Ave. In my mind, it was just like you walk out, you cross the street, go left a little ways. But that's the mind of a guy who passed out in the hallway.
Like a brick building, like a
could have been.
What was the name of that place over there? I think it used to still over by the Tony's.
I feel like you parked under the. I almost see a building that was like on stilts, and you parked under the building,
like by the old bus station. Well, the First Avenue was the old bus station back before my day. I mean, that goes back to the '60s or whatever. Before it became Uncle Sam's and the discotheque and all that jazz. But right across the street was the new bus depot.
Okay, and that's all ringing a vague bell. Yeah,
and just around the corner from that, or just down the block from that, was an old hotel, and it was like the Suter or the Sutton or what was it called?
That's probably it. Yeah,
and you'd have some alcoholics that lived there full time. But yeah, they rented rooms as well. Boy, you guys were...
And a few who just passed through. Hey, we're on our way to Denver. Understand that's a long drive. We better go ahead and just get plowed.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, sleep that one off.
I'm sure if it's the hotel I'm thinking of, there was, they probably didn't even bat an eye at someone passed out in the hallway.
Oh, no. Nobody thought... That's what I'm saying. No one thought... I mean, it was morning. Sun was up. Lights were on. No one walked by and woke me up. I woke myself up.
House cleaning's thinking there's one less room we have to clean.
That's exactly right. I just miraculously hadn't peed myself. I think that was probably the win of the day. Like, I got out of Minnesota with dry blue jeans on.
But you're probably passed out in someone else's urine stain.
That's very, very, very likely. On the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. Who we got? Is this John, I believe we have. John, good morning.
Good morning.
John, what do you got for us?
Well, I got two of them for you. One day on my 19th birthday, I woke up in the mud pits at Brainerd International Raceway.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other one was I was sleepwalking, and I got in my pickup truck, and I backed it out of the garage totally naked. And I even shut the garage door when I was backed out.
Nude. How responsible of you.
Man, and no injuries, though.
Nope.
Everybody's okay. You got lucky on that one. Was that a one-off, or were you a regular sleepwalker?
Usually when I get totally exhausted, I do that.
Okay. Exhausted in quotes.
We've all been exhausted.
Suffered from exhaustion.
What's wrong with Dad? It's okay, honey. He's exhausted. Do you know how hard it is to drink 2 bottles of scotch? He's worn out. Thank you for the call, John. We appreciate it. Tony, I've not heard anything about you waking up in an unexpected spot ever. And if it hasn't happened, then by God bless you. But I just feel like surely with all of your hijinks along the way.
Yeah. After a night of much celebration or exhaustion,
yes,
I woke up in a dog bed from a house party, and I remember I opened my eyes, an extreme close-up, gigantic Rottweiler right in front of my face, looking like, hey, man, that's my bed.
Oh, man, that's great.
Yeah, it was comfy.
Sure it was.
Yeah, that's a nice alternative, a dog bed to, the hotel floor or the crick bed.
Man, I like that. Ryder, do I even dare ask?
Waking up in the front yard isn't that weird. I think the weirdest one might be when I was growing up in Lakeville, we had the split level with the sliding glass door for sneaking out of the basement. Yeah. Real nice, right?
Yeah.
One time I think I came, and my bedroom was in the basement. One time I came back in and I think just slept on the tile floor instead of crawling forward to get into my bed. Did not get busted. Woke up before Mom and Dad were checking on me in the basement.
Yeah, I came home and I had a roommate halfway in the door. He's passed out cold with the screen door open up against his leg, his front half. He made it into the front half, but couldn't, haul his rear end in there.
Yeah.
651-989-ROCK. I believe we have another caller. Is it Kari? Are you with us, Kari? Kari.
Hi.
Hey, Kari.
Yep, I'm here.
What do you got for us?
Well, a neighbor of mine, he was going to stay, he was out drinking, and thought he was going to stay at a friend's house, and the whole area, all the houses looked the same, and he ended up going into an elderly lady's house, falling asleep on the couch, and when he woke up, she woke him up in the morning, and he talked his way, and she ended up making him breakfast.
Only in Minnesota. Anywhere
Yeah.
else you get shot. In Minnesota, you get breakfast.
Holy smokes. That's very impressive. Thanks for the call, Kari. Calling in, I sounds like from a windmill. So not sure what was going on with that one. I started by talking about a time I woke up on pool furniture in Alabama. Another night, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, college town, right? Big Alabama, and football's religion there.
Sure.
This is before we were called the Black Crows. My band was called Mr. Crow's Garden, and we were playing in Tuscaloosa. And I had friends from high school who were going to school there, and 2 girls, and they had an apartment, and they said you can crash on the floor.
Awesome.
Perfect. There's 4 of us. We're crashing on the floor. We wake up the next morning, and we're all having that. Oh man, that was crazy night. We're all like recounting just how silly it got. And our bass player at the time is a guy named Scott. Great dude. And he is sitting on the couch. He's just woken up and he sits up and he's naked but wearing a bathrobe. But it's obviously a feminine bathrobe. And my friend,
They're so soft.
My friend Elizabeth goes, where'd you get that? He goes, I guess I got it. I don't know. I got it out of your room. She goes, that's not mine. And the other roommate, Kathleen, goes, that's not mine. And then we had to retrace steps. And then one of their neighbors later told them, they're like, some crazed drunk guy came into our apartment and said he needed to look in our closets. And he had no recollection of it at all. He went and he returned in someone's bathrobe, but was wearing nothing underneath it. And so, we left that day, and he had
clothes on.
He had an extra pair of jeans and a T-shirt, but he left behind the clothes he had started the road trip with. He never got them back. I mean, it was a couple days later they heard from their neighbor, like some guy came in, and they were like, I think that was our friend's friend. Oh. And he was like, yeah, well, we got a pair of jeans and a belt and T-shirts and cigarettes. Like he had disrobed and put us. Those are heady times. I had a couple, not even drinking. The weirdest as a kid. Woke up once in my closet of my bedroom on a pile of shoes. But I had been placed there. My brothers picked me up. I'm a sound sleeper.
Yeah.
And they just laid me on a mountain of all of our shoes, 3 of us sharing a room. And then, of course, I did wake up once in a rope hammock that I had been cutting the grass with a push mower.
Yeah.
I cut under the hammock and around the 2 trees that are holding the hammock.
Yeah.
And then decided I'll just lay in the hammock for a minute.
Well, it's a hammock. It's
fair.
inviting you.
And immediately fell asleep. Lawnmower still on.
Oh.
And I woke up to the
gas.
sound of my dad's yelling, which was louder than the lawnmower. Just imagine you look up and you see your son sound asleep in a hammock with the lawnmower still on right next to him. Yeah, it was, these things happened.
Yeah, they do happen, don't
Too bad
they?
it wasn't circling you as you slept.
That would have been great. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Who we got, Tony?
Barbara on line 1.
Barb, good morning.
Yo, good morning, y'all.
Yo, what do you got for us?
Well, I have 2, but I'll do the one. So I was up north back in the early 80s, up north camping with my sister, and we were hanging out at the old bar, and, I was picking up some dudes, and I ended up an idiot. I was leaving with 2 guys I didn't even know, driving through the woods, went to this cabin out in the middle of nowhere, and I woke up the next morning on a cold waterbed, freezing.
Oh.
And didn't know where I was, didn't know who I was with, and that was pretty scary. I was just freezing. But if you've ever slept on a cold waterbed, it's not very comfortable.
No, and as a father of daughters, not very safe, young lady.
I know, and if it would have been just, I just can't believe I did that. That was pretty stupid, but I was okay, and I'm still hanging in there and living life.
No sign of the fellas, huh?
What?
The fellas weren't around? The 2 guys?
Oh, they were there. They
all right.
They had to take me back to the bar. My sister was a little worried about me.
Well, as long as somebody was. I mean, as long as someone's worried, it can only go so wrong. Barb, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Connect with us on the KQ Talking text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
A lot of people in Thailand, in a city called Samut Sakhon, have been going for penis enlargement procedures.
Okay.
There is a doctor named Kittikorn Songri. He's 36 years old, and he has been performing penis enlargement procedures for almost 20 years.
Well, he knows what he's doing.
Well, the problem
Knows
is,
his way around a penis.
I told you, did I mention he's 36 and he's been doing it for 20 years?
Well, all right, I'm not very good at math, but that sounds like he was a teenager.
He's been advertising his services via social media. He's had 2 or 3 patients every month. He has no medical license because he's had no medical training.
This isn't one of those pump things that I see on the websites, is it?
I don't know
heard
the
they don't work.
specifics of what he's doing, but he has been performing penis enlargement procedures with silicone implants for almost 20 years. Again, no medical training, no license, taught himself what he told police after a recent arrest. I taught myself to do this when I was 14 years old.
A little trial
Did
and
he
error.
teach himself on, like the neighborhood cats, or
I
what?
really do not know. He had a client who received a serious infection. There was a silicone infection in the implant, who then did a little bit of research and realized, I just had a guy who's not a doctor operate on, Big Jim here, and now Bigger Jim is infected, and we got a problem. So police investigated. A self-taught doctor has been practicing a very delicate procedure for 20 years, and for the first time, someone turned him in. Which is a testament to his skill set, because he's obviously done something right if nobody else has complained until now.
Well,
To go 20 years without a penis complaint, I think that's pretty good.
Well, either that or a lot of guys just didn't feel like going in and saying, hey, man, this guy in this basement over here in the a house on the wrong side of the tracks gave me a bad penis enlargement. I mean, you just kind of cut your losses and live with it.
That is true.
Silicone. I'm trying to think how we make the penis larger with silicone. I don't
know.
It just makes it lumpier.
I
doesn't it?
refuse to find out. I don't want to know. I'm still walking around with the penis I was born with, so that's all I can tell you. I'm just going with what God gave me.
Well, you weren't born with a micro penis or what's called a buried penis. Buried penis refers to a penis hidden under the skin from your stomach, thighs, or scrotum.
Well, it's shy.
Yeah.
I thought when you said buried penis, my first thought was literally you're hung like a draft horse because you're like Barry Gibb that way. That's what I thought. So I had that completely backwards. No, I like to your point, Zepp. Yeah, it's going to be a tough thing to say, man, I think I got a problem. I got a bad penis implant. When someone says, where did you get it done? And to your point, yeah, it was this guy in the basement. And then like, yeah, he was wearing a tank top. I should have known.
No.
I'm just picturing like... I mean, it's bad enough. Like last year, like Wilmington, Delaware, a man was performing dental procedures in his basement. Okay, that's bad enough. That's the average. That's a pulling a tooth or a root canal. This is a penile implant in a basement in Thailand from a guy wearing again a tank top. The bad news. Make no mistake about it.
DIY. I'll have to YouTube that later.
I felt good when I taught myself how to make a fire. You know what I mean? Like that was like, oh my God, I looked at the video and I felt great. This is what I've learned on YouTube, how to make a fire when you don't really have any, like a good, honest to God, like just all I got's wood and a match and it's a little tough and you can do this sort of stuff. You could dig a hole and dig another hole and you get the air flowing. I mean, it's fascinating stuff. Yeah. I also learned how to replace the battery in my car key fob.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's it. Yeah. That's what I've learned on YouTube.
That's what make a good scrambled egg.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen the one with the chopsticks where they swirl it? Like
yes, I have. Makes a little mountain.
I want to try it, but I'm afraid it'll be so bad it'll make me feel bad. But again, no penile implants. I've yet to go down that rabbit hole for teaching myself how to do things.
You're still a young man.
I do have time. And I could learn from this guy's mistakes, I'm sure. First things first, I'd put on a smock, a white apron and nothing else.
Right, exactly. For some reason, just welder helmet. I don't know. I think that would just be a nice touch.
You got a penile implant from a guy wearing a Washington Wizards jersey? That was weird. I don't know. He's a Jordan fan. He loved those Wizard years. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Whole thing's kind of weird.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
The National Toy Hall of Fame has announced their finalists for the year. The National Museum of Play is the official title, but they have their Toy Hall of Fame, and they induct new toys every year. Here are some of the finalists for this year. Balloons.
Yeah. What?
A balloon.
Just that's it. Balloons.
Simple,
I guess
effective.
The stick is in, remember?
That's
not
right.
Even water balloons?
Just
balloons?
Water balloons, bleach balloons, whatever you want to put in a balloon. Just balloon. The idea of a balloon, it puts a smile on children's faces. As a kid, I love balloons. I loved water balloons. I like blowing up balloons. I loved helium balloons. I loved huffing helium and having a funny voice. Balloons are great. I think that's a strong one. 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. Text us your favorite toys that you think need to get in. Balloons. What about this? Apples to apples. You ever play that with the kids?
Yeah, sure. Tons of times.
I don't know that one.
Never enjoyed it myself. It was never quite my thing. It kind of my gears kind of got ground up in that one.
What was the thing going on with apples to apples?
It's just like you compare words or sayings and you get things that are it's like a game of synonyms basically, kind of what I remember. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was they were trying too hard.
I think I played it once and there was drinking. I felt like it was a precursor to Cards Against Humanity.
Well, now I didn't pour cocktails with the kids, Ryder, so that's where I went wrong.
Right.
Thanks for telling me way too late.
From apples to apples to sadomasochism.
Also on the list, simply this, the trampoline.
In
all of its forms and fashions? Sure. Here's the one I love the most, the hobby horse, or as I knew it, the stick horse. A stick, a broomstick with a horse head and a little reins that you hold on to is up for induction. It's got to get the right votes, and something tells me it's going to go in, and that something is the fact that there are now hobby horsing championships all around the world. I kid you, there was one in the U.S. earlier this summer. Last week in Frankfurt, Germany, there were 300 riders, mostly kids, but 20 adults, jumping around a gymnasium. There's 1,500 people in the stands. They're cheering on people doing like an obstacle course with a stick horse in between their legs.
Where's carbon monoxide when you need it? never really bought into that. You know, when I was a little kid, you know, my grandmother, West River, South Dakota out there, we always got the pistol set, you know, the 2 6-shooters and, and the cowboy hat. And then we would get the stick horse. And very quickly, we were like, never sold on that. Even as a toddler, quickly, we would turn it upside down and we had a hockey stick.
I was going to say, you could hit things or people with that stick horse.
Right, No, we weren't riding around like a bunch of ponces.
Hard to look cool with a stick horse.
You can't look cool with a stick horse.
Hence the Germany competition, because, you know, I read a quote from a 15-year-old kid who said, hobby horsing just gives me self-confidence, and I just enjoy doing it with other people. And you know what? If that's the case, then good for you. It's, you know what? Better that than sitting in your basement playing video games all day long, I guess. You get a little exercise. You're jumping around. But what I really like is when the stick rubs up against my genitals.
That's what I'm thinking, right? It's just a little...
I jumped over the little creek and the hurdle, and I got what they call a big boner. Yeah. I love my hobby horse. 651-989-ROCK is the text line. Let us know your favorite childhood toys. What needs to go in of the list? Let me go down a little bit more there. Do you think any of these should because you got the stick horse. That's obviously... I'm voting yes. A game called Sequence. Don't know what it is. Trampoline. Transformers. Yeah, baby.
How's that not in
My Little Pony. Not in there. And by the way, this is the big one. Pokemon trading cards. Not in yet. I got to think they're going in with bells on.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
My neck is a mess because I threw my head around like an idiot for years playing drums. and I'm constantly getting chiropractors, masseuse. They all know my neck because it's a mess. These are and I didn't have to do it. I get captivated by the rock. I get carried away. These things happen. Between that and the lack of hearing, I really did a number on myself. And I look back and go, yeah, it's kind of stupid, but it was fun. But sometimes we hurt ourselves, and we can at least say it was fun along the way. And sometimes it's not even just guys like us. It's not even gals like us. I just saw this the other day, and honestly, it made me feel better about myself. Croy Bethune, if you don't know who this is, she's a soccer player. She plays for the U.S. women's national team. She's a rookie in the NWSL for the Washington Spirit. She's a great player. She's going to be one of the future stars of American soccer. Croy Bethune went out to a Washington Nationals game last month to throw out the first pitch. And she walks out onto the field. She's got the gold medal from the Olympics around her neck, and the place is cheering. And she throws the first pitch. Here it is. Whoom, throws it in. Catcher catches it. She walks over to him. They take the picture. And as she's leaving the field, she's like a little bit of a limp, almost, kinda, maybe. Yeah, she tore her meniscus throwing the first pitch out.
Oh, well, you can't, if you're a soccer player, go out and try and play real sports. Come on.
I'm okay. You guys have a good rest of the day. I'm going to take my leave. I know. I'm kidding. She walks out there and literally, I've thrown out a first pitch a time or two, and the last thing on my mind was anything being injured other than my ego. You know what I mean? It never occurred to me I could possibly throw my knee out. One of the most bizarre things ever. And I just think, we've all had those moments. We've all done the thing where you look back and you tell the story and everyone laughs and it's kind of funny, but not really, because it happened to you, not someone else.
Yeah, here I am making fun of this athlete, Bethune, one of our gold-winning soccer players, for tearing her meniscus in this silly fashion. You know how I tore my meniscus?
How's that?
I got out of the car with 2 bags of groceries and kicked the car door shut with my leg and tore my meniscus taking the groceries into the house. So I wish I had a sexy story like a first pitch or something like that, but no, not so much.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong one. I do remember a kid who played for the Colorado Rockies named Clint Barnes. This is years ago. This is probably almost 20 years ago. And I remember hearing that he broke his collarbone because he was carrying a load of deer meat his teammate had given him. And he put it on his back, and it was a little too much, and he got a little wobbly. And I'm sure it hurt. I'm sure it was really bad. But I just loved the idea of all the things to be carrying just a load of deer meat. That's what he blamed it on. Oh, it was a little heavier than I was expecting. And I thought, yeah, that's pretty good, man. I like a guy lugging deer meat around. My favorite ever a great athlete injury, although he's not a great athlete, but a kid named Marty Cordova playing for the Baltimore Orioles. He had to sit out a couple games because of the burns on his body. The burns he got because he fell asleep in a tanning bed.
Oh. Wow.
Can you imagine? You're a professional athlete, and baseball of all the sports is the most you're going to get ribbed by teammates. There's so much shtick in a dugout. They're ruthless. And you walk in after missing a couple of games because of your tanning bed sunburn. That's top notch, man.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you're gonna get a nickname out of that too. I don't know what it is, old bedburn or whatever, but. Yeah, that's silly. That's dumb. I would have definitely made up a lie, like I was dragging people out of a burning house, something like that.
I always say that, like, yeah, no, that orphanage was on fire. I had to go in there. This ankle twist. This ankle twist. I had 4 children in my arms.
I had to get stitches on my finger one time because I was bored. And I used a stapler. I wanted to see what it felt like, and I put some staples into my finger.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Tony, by the way, stitches in your fingers, I don't know how that worked for you, but incredibly painful. They could not deaden the pain. I did the same thing trying to clip my fingernails because I'm a psycho about clipping my fingernails with a knife, with a pocket knife. I was like, well, I'll just trim it up here a little bit, and I just... Yeah, clipped the end of my finger off a little bit. And, 3 stitches in there. And they gave me the old, well, we're not going to be able to deaden the pain. We just can't quite get to it there at the end of your finger. So 3 stitches with no painkiller. Wow. And, now I not only use fingernail clippers, but those plastic kitty ones.
Yeah, we're both in Mensa, apparently.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I can understand, Zepp, the knife to the nails. That's what tough guys do. Tony, you left out the part where you were clearly tripping on mushrooms.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we'll detail it.
651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Dumb injuries. Here's one from Jim, who happens to be Ryder's dad on the text line.
Hey.
Morning, Dad.
Awesome.
20 feet up on a ladder, working on the house with a drill, starting to fall, and instead of dropping the drill, I squeezed the trigger and drilled a hole in my leg.
Oh, no.
Do you remember that one, Ryder?
I don't. That must have been before my time.
Wow.
I remember seeing pictures of Dad on the ladder, but no, not with the hole drilled into his thigh.
Oh, that's a beauty there.
Oh, man. It's funny. That reminds me. I mentioned earlier, we're talking about dumb injuries and then seeing your dad do something silly. There was already a thing when my brother had to talk him down off of an argument they had over which power line would kill my other brother. Mm-hmm. And then we also spoke earlier in the show about how Zepp and I are terrified of electricity. My dad had a hedge trimmer that was, plugged into the extension cords, and he dragged the cords right where the 2 cords connected. He dragged it across the patio right through a puddle. Oh. And he took a jolt so hard that he just fell over like an oak tree and laid there like, And we were like, did we just watch our dad get electrocuted? And it wasn't enough to, obviously didn't kill him. And I don't even think he had smoke coming out of his shoes, but it jolted him really hard. And we were all just like, holy crap.
Can we laugh at this? Should we not laugh at this? Yeah.
Oh, there was no laughing at all until we knew he was in his car and across town the next day. Oh, and then we laughed. Make no mistake about that. The dumb injuries. I knocked myself out once. With a buddy, and we were doing something about we were talking about wrestling and just goofing off in a hallway, and I put him in like a headlock, and then I let him go as if I had won the match. And I went to celebrate by jumping in the air and pumping my fist. And I didn't realize I was in a hallway. I was standing in a doorway, where the fire doors that are opened in this hallway. So I was standing at a place where right over my head by about 12 inches was the drop ceiling. I mean, it was like the door jamb.
Yeah.
And I leapt into the air and I came to laying on the floor. I was only out for a second or two, but that was it. And I just was like, what's happening here? And they were like, you should go to the hospital. You probably have a concussion. And I wouldn't go because I couldn't stand the thought of saying, well, I was doing a wrestling move and I was pretending I just knocked the guy out, so I jumped up and smashed my head into the door jamb. Probably looking back now, I probably should have gone and had an X-ray because that's just not the kind of thing a smart person does.
Well, right? I mean, now I'm remembering the time that, because you mentioned going into the doctor and having to fess up to the stupid thing that you did, we're out studying for finals in a park. We decided to go to the park, have a couple of beers, and we're going to study for, study I'm using in quotations, but we're literally going to study. And they had one of these little roller wheels. Like, think of the hamster in the wheel, right? But they have one of these for kids at the park. I jump in there along with our nose tackle, Pat Riddell, who comes in at about 300 bills. And we're in there, and I fall, and he goes up, I go down, and he lands. His back lands on my face, breaks my nose, breaks my cheekbones.
Oh.
Right, so we got to go to the hospital. There's blood everywhere. And then I had to tell them that I got hurt, like, basically on a merry-go-round for kids. But it was... the little roller thing. Built for 4-year-olds at the park. That was a lot of fun.
That's always a tough one. When I broke not one but two of my two arms playing basketball, when I was in the ER, I was in a lot of pain, but it was so embarrassing because every single person I encountered, they said, "Car accident?" I was like, "No, basketball." They're like, "What? Car accident?" I was like, and finally I was like, yeah, I was in a convertible. I was trying to do a loop-de-loop like on my Hot Wheels track, and I just missed. Like, no, I'm the guy who breaks his arms playing basketball. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Tony, who have we got?
We got Dwayne lined up on line one, then we can go to Patrick.
Dwayne, good morning, sir.
How you doing?
All good, brother. Give me your favorite band.
Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes.
Attaboy. What about your favorite team? Any sport?
We'll go all Wild.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it, baby. All right, what do you got for us, Dwayne? What's your story?
All right. Well, when I was a younger man, I decided to go out partying. The next morning, we had a tea time at 10 o'clock and went out golfing. And I was beating my uncle, who I was very competitive with. My ball landed about 3 feet from an electrical box. And if he says, if I move it, it's a stroke. So I was like, I'll just go punch it out. And I went for my backstroke. I was like, F it, I'm going for it. I swung. My club hit the top of the electrical box and blew my forearm bone out my skin.
No.
Come again?
So I got a plate and 6 screws.
That's a hell of a backswing. It just hit the top of the electrical box, and that was enough to throw a major charge. Say that again. It blew your forearm bone? What bone is that? Connected to the elbow. Out your skin?
Yep.
What the hell,
I
man?
mean, oh my God, you must have sculled the shot. I hate that for your round.
Yeah.
Well, I really didn't care about that because my club broke, but it also sounded like a tree branch snapping, so...
Lord, help us! Dwayne has raised the bar considerably in less than 1 minute. I've never heard of anything like that, Dwayne. That's amazing.
Did you start a forest fire?
Oh hell no! I went to the hospital and I told them to stitch it up, and let me go home. And they said, "No, you're having surgery," and they gave me a shot of morphine, and I was
there you go.
Done.
Yeah, right. How's the golf game now?
Shot a 95 this weekend, so...
Hell yeah.
That'll work. All
right on. Dwayne, thank you for the call and that story. That is top shelf, brother. Very well delivered.
God, man.
If you got time, I got one quick one. Went to go see the Oasis and the Black Crowes. Pre-gaming.
Yeah.
My buddy had a BB gun in his garage. He pumped it one time and went to shoot me in the calf.
Well, as you do.
Yeah, well, of course, because who doesn't shoot their friend with a BB gun?
One pump.
My buddy left it pumped 10 times.
Oops.
So it went through my jeans and is still in my calf.
Hey, a little souvenir for the show.
Did you still make the gig?
Oh, goddamn right I did.
Attaboy.
Hell yeah.
You guys
I like this guy.
Right on, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Over at the XL Energy Center. I remember that one. That was a good one. Dwayne, thank you, brother. You're 2 for 2 with us. Well done. Quit while you're ahead. We got to move on. I believe Patrick is also on hold. Is that correct?
That's right.
Good morning.
Favorite band, Patrick? Who you got?
I got to go with Zeppelin.
That'll work. Favorite team? Any sport?
Any sport, I got to go with the Vikings with the big win.
Hell yeah, you do. Man, the levee broke for the Giants yesterday. All right, Patrick, what have you got for us?
Nice one. When I was a younger lad, we used to lower the hoops in gym class. And Shaquille O'Neal was pretty big at that time, breaking the rims and all. So I went up to slam dunk it and was screaming, and the basketball net caught my tooth and ripped my tooth out.
Oh, no!
See it coming.
Oh my God!
And I knew I was in trouble. You got it, because when the teacher came running over, he swore. OSH. I started crying. I didn't feel nothing. It just went numb. But right when that teacher swore, I knew, by God, this is bad.
Yeah, you get a teacher to cuss in horror. You've done your job for sure.
Going to the nurse and going to the dentist and all that, they're all like, "You did what?" My dad's like, "Only my son."
Yeah, right.
Don't leave out the part where you lowered the rims, though. It sounds more impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick, that is awesome. Very well done, sir. Thank you for the call. All right, we got to keep moving quickly. I think we got Floyd. Is Floyd still with us?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Floyd. Give me your favorite band.
Man, I got to go with Leonard Skinner.
That'll work. Favorite team, any sport?
We're going to go with Minnesota Twins.
Nice. All right, what do you got for us?
Well, I just want to talk about everybody's favorite sport, pickleball. In high school. I am not proud of this. I was a little blazed up. We're playing pickleball, and I was really good at playing pickleball. I could pretty much make any shot you sent my way, and those damn wiffle balls, they float in the air, just insane. It's not like a tennis ball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they do curves and spins, so this ball's coming at me. It's almost in front of my face. And I have the pickleball paddle, if you know what those look like. It's a big, solid wood mallet, like Dazed and Confused you get spanked with. Have it by my chest. The ball's almost at my face, and I push forward with that mallet. And somehow I catch the tip of my nose. And I shove my nose about a half an inch over on my face. Blow blood out in front of the whole entire school gym.
Yeah, you did.
But say the Effenheimer and walk to the nurse's office. Tell anybody my story because it happened in front of like 50 people. And yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
How's that nose looking these days?
The nose is looking pretty good, but I've had it broke a couple more times.
Well, that's just a guy going about his business. You know, that's life in these rough and tumble streets. Floyd, thank you for the call, brother. I'm sorry we got to hop.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
I have a very, very vivid, active, bizarre, and kind of troubling dream life. My dreams, every morning I wake up, I do remember what I've been dreaming about, and more often than not, I go, man, what in the hell does that mean? One thing that and I look up all this common things, like, what does it mean that I'm always being chased by a tornado?
Yeah.
I've had that dream my whole life. It's always like the same size as me. Not a giant tornado. I have personal Steve-sized tornadoes that chase me in my dreams.
Take on that tornado, Steve. Come on.
What's that?
Take on that tornado.
I try. I do what I can. I mean, they say it's worries and anxieties are mounting, or it's symbolic of a challenge you can't quite escape.
Turmoil.
Well, I mean, I was having that as a kid. I mean, it's just that's the one. That's my go-to. But here's one thing I've never thought ever once in my life. Boy, I'd love to be able to communicate with someone else who's having a dream at this very exact moment. It wouldn't even occur to me that that's possible. But apparently, there's a company in California that is trying to set up, and they believe they are very close to establishing two-way communication between individuals who are both experiencing lucid dreaming.
Fascinating.
Now, lucid dreaming, it is pretty fascinating. I don't understand what could possibly come of this that's positive, but lucid dreaming is when you are in a dream, but you're aware that you're dreaming. So you're kind of in control of the dream. And I've had that experience as well. I've been aware of the fact that I'm in a dream and continued to dream. I've let it, hey, hang on, this is a dream. It's okay. And I've told myself, don't wake up. It's okay. It's just a dream. And then I continue on with my adventure.
You can manipulate it as you're dreaming.
I've had that happen on a handful of occasions. Absolutely true.
Cool. Who was it about?
What's that?
Who was it about?
It was not about Julia Roberts. What are you talking about? But scientists, as they say, they're coming up with this whole idea. They're saying, okay, so what we've got is some technology, and we're going to hook up a few people to a bunch of pads and sensors and put things in their, connect to their brain. There's a server, and it can detect when someone is entering a lucid dream. And this is all it says. 2 participants went to sleep in their own homes, right? Their brain waves are remotely tracked by this apparatus, and it feeds data into the server. Once this server recognizes, okay, this guy over here, let's say it's you and it's Tony and Brian. Okay, Tony's in a lucid dream. We're going to generate a random word into him via earbuds. It's just like
ball sack.
The word is ball sack. And then 8 minutes later, Brian goes into a lucid dream. The server transmit the stored message from the first participant to Brian, Tony to Brian, and then Brian wakes up and goes, was the word ball sack? I mean, yeah. And so people are really excited about this, and they're going, this is a really, really amazing thing, but no one really can give me a reason why this helps anybody at all. I mean, in terms of understanding how the brain works, if you're getting more inside information, if you can understand how this genius computer we're all born with actually operates, okay. But I feel like this might be just the kind of thing a weirdo is trying to do to get attention. And why do I feel that way? Because the guy who has put this experiment up and gotten these results, he put an electrode into his own brain a couple years ago because he was trying to control his dreams. He's not a neurosurgeon. He has no neurosurgery qualifications. He watched some videos on YouTube about brain surgery, practiced on some sheep, and then bought a drill at a hardware store and drilled a microchip into his own brain.
Yeah, okay.
He did a DIY on brain surgery?
DIY on his... That's exactly right. His name is Michael Raduga, and he Raduga'd up his own brain to an electrode, which after 5 weeks had to go to the hospital and have it reviewed.
I can see this becoming a tool for marketing or advertising.
Yes,
that's very powerful.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
He believes that REM, the REM sleep is the type of sleep. Rapid eye movement sleep is where you can have lucid dreams. And he believes that this is an industry he says it's like after AI, this is the next big frontier.
This is the one that'll do us in.
This is the one.
Yeah. AI, people are like, oh, it's the end of AI and the internet. And no, that changes things. I don't fear that kind of stuff. But once we can start, because we talked about another piece of technology here in the last year, probably closely associated with this scheming right here, that they'll be able to record our dreams. I mean, this is, and then mind reading is, we'll put that right into the smartphone. There's an app for that. I can record your thoughts now. I know what you're thinking. That's the end.
Yeah.
As soon as you know what's really going on inside of here, and I'm talking about your head, as soon as that's exposed to the public, then it's over, boys and girls.
I agree with you entirely. I don't know if anybody would be. I'm curious. Do you want to see your own dreams? Would you, if you could hit a button and your dreams are put up on a screen, like you log into YouTube TV, but it's Tony Brain TV. Yeah. If you could wake up in the morning and see like a movie what you just dreamt, I would have to say yes, and then I would regret it for the rest of my life.
No, I would love it. I've been thinking about this since I was a kid.
Yeah.
That I would love to invent a device that would do that and record and be able to play back your dreams.
I mean, the Tony
but
Tunes
you'd be
are pretty
horrified.
close.
Yes. You would be entertained and horrified at the same time.
I think watching your own dreams would be fascinating. That I would love. It's other people seeing your dreams.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And because it's being recorded, You don't think that's just for you, do you?
Steve, this is an odd dream I saw that you had last Thursday night. You are in a confessional, and instead of a priest, it's your childhood dog, Rusty, that's hearing your confession. Yeah, I know. I don't really know what that means either. But it seems like, we were both wearing Crocs. I mean, that's the stuff I dream. It's just a mishmash. But if I have two types of dreams. I have anxiety dreams, the personal tornado. I have the dream where I'm in an airplane and it can't take off because there's like power lines over. It's like going down a runway, and the pilot is saying like, as soon as we clear these power lines, we're good to go. And I'm like, get this thing off the ground. I mean, I have these weird anxiety dreams, or I just have simple, awesome dreams where I'm just, like I'm on a motorcycle and I'm like Tom Cruise in a movie, and then there's Rusty. I haven't seen him since I was in high school, and you just have funny things, and then like Jennifer Connelly shows up and says, "Do you want a coffee?" And I'm like, "I do, thank you very much." And then I'm in a park, and
that's my dream.
Yeah, and then I'm in a park somewhere, and there's kids playing, and they're all like, "Steve, looking good today." I mean, it's just the goofiest crap imaginable.
I think it'll be commonplace at some point that it'll be like when you meet somebody and you walk around their house and admire their artwork or their books. You'll play back dreams and get to know somebody that way, or it'll be used on dating apps.
Do you realize how dark and terrible? There is not one of us that would ever say a word to each other again if we just got inside our heads for 1 minute, let alone recording dreams. I don't know what you people are hiding, but I know you're hiding something. We're all hiding something. And you listening, yes, I'm talking to you. You know what I'm talking about. And we can't let these things out into the open. Dear God Almighty. Where's my tinfoil at? Aluminum foil.
Have you ever had the kind of dark dream, though, where you're doing something terrible? Like where you're killing someone or shooting someone or stabbing someone or doing that?
I'm having it right now.
Right. Really? No, I mean when you're asleep. I don't mean wide awake plotting and planning.
Yeah.
I know you're full of that. I'm talking about you're sound asleep. You are untethered to your conscience and societal norms in your sleep.
Yeah.
What is your central nervous system running away with?
I don't know. I never know the person, but sometimes I have dreams where I'm drowning someone in mud.
Really?
I'm holding their head underwater while they're dying, but I don't know who it is.
I've had some really violent dreams, and I do know the people, and then and sometimes I wake up and think, "Oh, that'd be great," and sometimes I wake up and think, "Oh my God, why would I ever do that?"
Yeah,
that's a weird one. So basically what I'm saying is don't approach me from behind to the left.
I'm gonna write that down.
Always come up on my right side just to be safe.
Terrifying, fascinating stuff. I'm with you, Tony. I mean, this stuff is fascinating, but whew, it's going to be different when we can start reading each other's thoughts, because that's what the path we're going down here is, just being fully exposed. Nudity is nothing compared to what's in that skull.
Oh gosh, no, that is nothing.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
You know what is actually a word? It's not German, but it's Norwegian. Is Udapils? We have the brewery here.
Yeah, right.
Udapils it means outside beer. In Norwegians, it's an outside beer. It's like when you are just outside having a beer.
Okay, I like
outside pills.
We should. There's not an English version in one word. We should just take that. Hey, man, you want a Udapils?
Yeah.
Well, then step outside, motherfucker. You gotta straighten people out. You know what I mean?
This beer outside, mister.
Yeah, man. I do like that one. Here is a great German word I love. Kummerspeck.
All right.
Kummerspeck. It's a German word that literally means grief bacon. And it's when you overeat because you're sad about something.
Oh, I thought, thought if there was someone had a loved one pass away, you would bring them bacon, some grief bacon.
That could be it. That could be it.
So it's when you overeat. I experience Kummerspeck a lot.
Would you like a tissue with your Kummerspeck? I see you're crying. I see you're making the tears out of your eyes. Chauncey Gorman is a Kummer Schnitzel, or dog. What's the word for dog in German? I picked him up in a fit of grief. Best thing I ever did. Yeah.
So there was it had a dog pass.
Not a dog, a family member. I was just taking it. It was a really sad time, and I walked right by a window. Literally, how much is that puppy in the window? I was like, look at all those puppies in there. I think I need one. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting here wiping snot for the next 7.5 years.
Good move,
worth every penny. Oh, it's the best thing ever. a Scottish word that is also of note, tartle. Tartle. Did they probably say tartle?
Sounds like something they'd wear.
It's a Scottish word for when you want to introduce someone, but you hesitate. That hesitation is a tartle, and you hesitate because you can't remember their name.
Oh.
Or, as I call it, every time I go to introduce someone.
You're full of tartles.
Yeah. I'm a tartle. I'm a Tartelhoffenstufenen.
I know it. Don't you hate it when you think you have a guess in your head, but you don't feel confident about it, and you say, listen, I just forgot your name, and they tell you the name, and it was the guess. You're like, I was gonna guess that, which sounds disingenuous now.
I did actually stumble across a great thing probably 10 years ago because someone said it when talking to me. They went, "Hey, this is oh my God, brain fart." And what do you? And you go, "Oh yeah, I've had that, Steve." Yeah, sorry, Steve. And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's just that simple. Just admit you can't think of their name." Instead of me going, "Hey man, this is." I start coughing, hoping they'll introduce themselves. Yeah, everyone sees right through it.
I used to think it was funny for a short period of time just to say a name. Hey, Wendy. No, it's Lisa. But no one else ever thought that was funny. I was the only. I was like, but I just kind of. Anyway, Lisa.
Did that on purpose.
Been a while.
Yeah, my Uncle Larry was big on this one. There he is.
Hey, you.
Yeah, big guy.
There he is.
Yeah, there's trouble.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
When I start adding up the number of times that I did something that probably should have had my ass bounced right out of there, it's kind of astounding. I've messed up either intentionally or unintentionally at every job I've had countless times. But the best record I have is this, since I came to KQ.
Yeah.
No fireable offenses that I'm aware of.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'm in denial. Harder. Maybe I'm in It's exactly right.
We should at least fear it every once in a while. Like, oh, man, that's gonna get me fired, man.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, right.
I know 2 occasions, Steve, that you've dropped F-bombs.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Can you get fired for that anymore? There's only one way to find out. Ready? All 3 of us. 3, 2.
It's only a fireable offense if Ryder's arm does not immediately shoot a button on my behalf.
Sometimes you have to know your value by pushing that line. This may surprise you guys because I'm a little older and more mellow, but I used to have quite a temper.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I know. It's you're thinking, who? Brian Zappa?
What happened?
What are you talking about? I smell a lot of
where did that go?
Daily mantras, meditation, just a balanced diet, one a day. But in radio, there's a couple of times. I remember coming back from a live broadcast. I was an hour late for the live broadcast, and I was doing the show with a bunch of other folks, and I decided, well, I can't just walk in because everybody's going to be mad at me, so I walked in naked. And that was, and I thought,
this one.
Yeah, I thought that's the end of that. But I did not get fired. I was just told not to be late anymore, and if I would at least put a robe on. But the other time was that I was doing a trivia contest, and I was up on a stage, and I ended up leaping off the stage into a table full of guys for a big melee. Little brawl, little fist of fury action there. They took me into the bathroom. I came out to the Rocky theme. I thought that was a nice touch by the house DJ, but did not get fired for that one. Steve, what did you almost get fired for?
The list goes on. The first one I remember, I actually confessed to something, and my boss looked at me like I was crazy for thinking it was a problem. Just on a whole different matter. I was the doorman at a club when I was 21 years old, and there was a Grateful Dead cover band playing, and it was a $3 cover, right? And so, and most of the people in the bar are college kids, and as the doorman, I would card every dude, and I waved every girl right in. Like, no girl ever handed me a fake ID because I never asked. Every guy, every dude, I was like, that's fake. No, it's not. I'm like, it looks fake to me. I had no idea what was fake and what was. I'm just a jerk. And I hated all the frat guys, and so, I would give them grief. But one night at the door of this Grateful Dead cover band's performance, it's a $3 cover, and a woman in probably at that time in her 40s, 40s, she comes in with what looks like her son and his friends. Like a woman with 4 young college boys.
All right.
And she's very attractive. And 4 guys who I would have absolutely given a hard time to if they weren't with Suzanne Summers, who looks what she looked like to me.
Yeah.
And she just walked up and she's like, "Hi, how much is it?" And I said 15 because there's 5 of them. And she took that to mean 15 each. And she did not blink. She opened her wallet and she pulled out. She goes, "So that's 75." Pulled out a $100 bill and said, "Here, just keep it." And they walked in.
I want to be in her party.
Yeah, and so I had an $85 tip, which she thought was a $25 tip. And either way, and I'm standing there looking at it, and right then, the owner of the bar, Jeff, walks up and goes, "Hey, what's going on?" And but I don't know why I thought I should tell him. And I said, "Hey, this woman actually just gave me," and I thought, actually, I know what I thought. I thought, you know what? He probably showed up right away because he saw and heard that, and he's going to bust me. That's what I was thinking. So, it wasn't the goodness of my heart. I was covering my ass. I go, "Jeff, I said 15. She thought it was 15 each, so she thought it was 75. She gave me 100 and just said, keep it." And I said, so I should probably go get the change and give her back her $85. And he literally just stared at me and goes, "What is wrong with you?" Like, "Oh, yeah, you're right. Cool." And I was like, "All right, cool, boss."
Did you think you met the ethical bar manager?
I was new in town.
The unicorn?
All I can say is I was new in town. Fell off the back of the turnip truck and ended up in a big city. It won't surprise you that night was spent at a late night Chinese with a drink called the Volcano with 4 of us all sipping giant straws out of a flaming middle of a bowl of liquor.
What could go wrong?
Nothing. $85 at a time when that was $9 million to me.
Oh, yeah.
But I also, by the way, if you have a job you should have been fired from, something you want to share, feel free to go to the KQRS Facebook page. We've got a lot of posts already. The KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. Text or call if you've got one. As a college student, I worked at the university bookstore. In the student center, you got the bookstore. That's where everybody goes to buy their textbooks, but also just anything, pens, paper. It's a store with everything. And I had various jobs there for a few years, but I was working in the bag check area. Right outside the doors was like a caged, they don't let you bring in backpacks because they don't want you to steal stuff and put it in your backpack. So I'm the guy that would hand you half of a playing card. Here, you're the 4 of diamonds. And then I would keep the other half. That's how they matched the bags. Like that was the number system.
Clever college kids.
Pretty cool. College kids. We're all cool. And sometimes somebody would come up and hand me a backpack, and that guy might be, I don't know, either my brother Dave or my brother Doug, also students at the university. And then they would look at me and go, they would hand me the bag, and then they would say something to the effect of, History 401, European after the colonial revolution. They would give me a textbook name.
Yeah.
And I'd go, yep. And then I'd just walk into the store when I didn't have anybody to worry about their bags. And then I might pick that book up off the shelf. And then I might take it back to my little cage where I pretended to read it. And then it would fall into their backpack.
Whoopsie, Butterfingers.
Backpack back. It was crazy. Yeah, just blind thievery. And,
thievery are those damn books. Let's be honest with you. You buy them for about $150 and sell them back to them for about $10.
Well,
who's the thief? Yeah.
Well, one day at work, absolutely one of the most scariest moments of my life. The boss comes in and he takes me and 2 other guys that work there, and he goes, "Hey, come into my office, the 3 of you." And we sit in his office, and he says, "Anybody got something you want to tell me?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" He goes, "Guys, listen, I'm like you. I was a student here. I used to work at this bookstore. I know what it's like, and I know, it's really tempting, but I'm just going to ask if any of you has something you can confess to me right now. It's going to be so much better for you. Please come clean if you have something to come clean about." And I'm like, oh my God. And a couple times I've gotten some books for my brother and a buddy. And I'm
Don't blink.
And I'm thinking, I'm just going to ride the storm out and see what happens. And the 2 guys next to me, we're all stone-faced. And he says, "Okay." And he goes, "Steve, Mike, you can go." And we get up and leave the office. And we open his door, and who's waiting on the other side but campus police?
Holy
They step in.
God almighty.
They step in, and they put handcuffs on our coworker and walk him out, the perp walk. because he had been stealing textbooks.
Oh, the same thing? Oh.
Yeah. He wasn't sticking them in. I think he was doing it some other way. He wasn't doing it at bag check like I was. So that means I'm a smart criminal and he's a dumb one, I guess. But this kid, honestly, he was arrested, expelled from school. I talk about getting scared straight right there in the moment. Yeah. I was like, oh, Nelly.
And the manager's a liar, was just on a fishing trip because the campus cop was already called. He was already standing there.
Yep.
If he had confessed it, I doubt that manager would have let him go. He already had the cop standing outside the door. But, yeah, you didn't blink, man. You passed the test.
Passed the test. I failed the test and then passed the test.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, right. If you're looking at the big picture.
On the Facebook page, Tim posted one. Buried the wrong person in the wrong grave. and then he said, I fixed it though, no worries.
Oh man. I mean, you just gotta, okay, that's phenomenal. I don't know where to go from that. I'm looking at one here from a nurse, Jackie, dropped a side of sour cream on a patient's bald head. That's nice, but I mean, you didn't. I mean, yeah, exactly. Rub it in there. We were talking about Coach Fleck might end up with some mayo on his head here on January 3rd with the Gopher football team. But yeah, no, body, wrong grave. I mean, at the end of the day, does it real? But yes,
you could probably cover for it, but it's important to cross the T's and dot the I's.
Sure.
Also on the Facebook page, Wade, I told a joke that Brian Zepp told on KQ about a fat woman and a moped. There was a big woman that worked there, but I didn't see her in the room. Oops.
Oh, yeah, you got to check the room, man. I never do, and no, I've told a couple of jokes, there was one I still to this day, and it's anticlimactic because I'm not going to obviously tell the frickin' joke, but I thought that was it for me. I thought, okay, that's the one that crossed the line clearly, and no one ever said a word. Not a word was said. Yeah, I don't think anyone was listening that day.
I like this is a great one. A text. I worked in a hardware store in a rich part of town. The wealthy customers would walk in and hand us their list, expecting us to do their shopping.
No.
We would, but that's a neighborhood I've never been to. Yeah. We would, and the name of the game was to see how much other random stuff we could add to their cart. Yes. Yeah, I like that. Congratulations on your new 20-inch chainsaw chain and diamond reciprocating saw blade, along with that bird seed. That's great.
It's funny because they're rich people.
That is funny because they're rich people. We used to do this just as not as employees, but we'd be at the grocery store when we were little kids. And early on, this is what happens when you have 5 older brothers. You learn how to be a real nuisance young. And the whole trick was you're going down the grocery store and we're filling the cart with all the cereal and chips and crackers and crap. But then you'd see a cart going the other direction and try to just drop something in their cart. I don't know if that woman knew she was buying saltines today, but I got them in there when she wasn't looking. We would totally load up other people's carts. That was just good, clean fun.
Yeah, you catch them before they check out. That's no harm, no foul.
Okay, here's one. Doing cocaine off my desk during prep periods to stay awake after drinking/pulling all-nighters during my first year of teaching middle school.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. That, you know what? I can look back immediately and realize, I had a couple teachers that were clearly high. I just thought they were crazy.
Yeah, teachers are crazy. By the way, I mean, can I butt in here with the naked teacher arrested over Thanksgiving? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, please.
Teacher decided to crash at the school over Thanksgiving, and someone saw a light on at the school, an elementary school that shouldn't have been on, so they called the police. The deputy comes up and looks in the window. Here's the audio.
Male saw a deputy, quickly got dressed and exited the school. Deputy tried to apprehend him, and at that point, the now clothed, formerly nude male committed battery on that deputy. There was nobody inside the school at the time. As to the vulgarity, I think I just don't even want to get into his mind and think about what he was thinking.
Yeah, sex toys. Lots of sex toys.
Sure.
They were scattered all over the teacher's desk. Did get fired for that one, however. Yeah, that's way over the line.
You have no idea the things you can do with a globe. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. I believe we have Carrie on the phone. Carrie, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Carrie. Give me your favorite band.
Oh, favorite band, the Eagles.
Give me your favorite team, any sport.
The Packers.
It's okay. We still love you.
Yep.
Still waiting for that Eagles-Eagles combo. All right, Carrie, what have you got for us?
Back in the 1960s, my father-in-law, he was an excavator, and he was hired to tear down a building in St. Paul. And there were two buildings that were identical across the street from each other. And he was given the wrong address, and he tore the wrong one down.
Well, he was given the wrong address, to be fair. The person that gave him the wrong address, that's the ass on the line. Yeah.
Yeah, so luckily the same guy owned both buildings, and he understood, and he's like, well, I plan on probably taking the other one down anyway.
That's about as good as it gets right there. Yeah, there's burning the guy's hamburger, and then there's tearing down the wrong building. Very different. Very different thing. That's awesome. Thanks for the call, Carrie.
Yep, have a good day.
This is another good one on the KQ Facebook page from Chris. I was the boss's weed guy, so I gave him some pretty good deals, which kept me, quote, safe. But if the higher ups found out, I'd have been out. Kept it up for a good 10 years. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. If you're the boss's weed guy, you're good. As long as the weed is good, you're good.
That's right. You are golden, is what that is. I had a lot of food service jobs over the year. Made a lot of pizzas in my day, and there were some corners being cut, and then there was also some payback. A rude customer. I'll never understand somebody walking into a pizza joint at midnight and bitching about anything.
It's food. You got to eat it.
You're asking a half-drunk 22-year-old musician to give you food, and you're yelling at them while ordering it? What do you just stick your tongue into a mousetrap? Why don't you? It's not going to end well for you. You're not going to you're going to get the pizza, but there'll be an extra thing or two on there. I'm just telling you.
Nasty.
These things happen. That's part of the plan. By the way, the other thing, and I didn't get fired for this, but I got yelled at. Back at the college bookstore, for some reason, the bookstore is where, well, not for some reason, but the bookstore is where you would go pick up your cap and gown for graduation. Mm-hmm. So the graduating, seniors would come in. And this is at Western Kentucky University. So you'd walk into the bookstore. My two brothers, Dave and Doug, they graduated at the same time because Dave took a break for a while and took a year and a half off. As it turns out, they're going to graduate together in the arena, big college graduation. They come into the bookstore to get their caps and gowns, and they left with those cords that you put around your neck that means summa cum laude because their brother said, take these, don't tell anybody. And so when the way they would do the graduation, they didn't call out by name all of the graduates. It's too many people, but they would say, the College of Arts and Sciences, for those students graduating with a 4.0 or better, the cream of the crop, the guy said, summa cum laude, stand and be acknowledged. And 38 people stand up, and two of them one's 6'5" and the other's 6'6", and they're right next to each other. There's just polite applause. And then you hear from around the arena various people go, "Oh, come on!" Like anybody that knew either Doug or Dave Gorman was like, "What the hell is that?" And so in all their graduation photos, they've got the ribbon, it's like a big rope thing that you wrap around your neck like you're some sort of PhD or something. That was good stuff.
Just put it on your resume while you're at it,
But the problem was, as I said, these guys are both really tall. And again, my bookstore manager Tom had been at graduation, and he goes, "Hey, so your brothers had some great careers here, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, they did. They did really well." He goes, "You mean the brother who flunked out, took 2 years off, and came back to finish? He's summa cum laude." I was like, "Look, man, I don't know how you just let me tell you something right now. I don't ever want to see that again." He was yelling at me. I was like, "Oh crap! I can't believe I got busted." These things happen. But you know what? Every job you have is a chance to learn who you really are at the end of the day.
It really is. Here's Kevin on the KQ Facebook page. One more reason you should have been fired, but we're not. By the way, favorite band for Kevin, Boston. Favorite team, the Wild. He posted that. Delivering pizza for a fundraiser at an elementary school in Belle Plaine. Backed my truck up to the assigned door. Didn't see the exposed gas pipes and took out a gas line. Had to evacuate the school of about 100 kids. Called in the boys in blue, the fire trucks, the gas company.
County. After 4 hours of digging while the gas was shooting out of the pipe, they were able to shut off the main air pipe. Not fired, though.
No.
And, a little extra pizza left over, I bet.
Well, sure. Yeah. No, I mean, you can't. It's hard to get good help. You know what I mean? I mean, most of those pizzas were delivered without threat of gas death.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.
Hey, it's Ryder from the KQ Morning Show. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that good stuff. Thanks for using the Best of the KQ Morning Show podcast to get through your holiday season. Sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. New episodes fire up Monday, January 6th.